Hi everybody, welcome to the Facebook Live today. We're going to be talking about how you can use blogging and SEO to improve your ranking in search engines and get new clients, and hopefully more clients than you can handle without paying for advertising or any kind of paid advertising, in the local newspaper, online, and even without needing veterinary referrals, which I know a lot of you guys rely on when you're getting started, is going out there and visiting every vet in the area. So I want to show you an alternative that's a really good option when you're getting started. Even though it takes a little bit of time, it's free. So I think it's worth investigating and giving a try. All right. So first I want to start by introducing myself. I'm the founder of the Modern Dog Trainer blog and podcast. And I have been training dogs for over 10 years, pretty much since before I was a teenager. I was spending every weekend at the local animal shelter working with the dogs that were there. So I've got a lot of dog training experience. And I was actually in college when I decided to start my own business and really pursue it as like my career path. And start my own business and all that, whatever, that entails. Basically, I didn't have much money when I decided to get started. I looked into holding classes at the local shelter. I actually used Groupon a little bit to get some, class teaching experience under my belt and get some clients through the door. And ultimately, I built my own website, which was really, really valuable to getting my business started quickly. All right, welcome if you're just joining. So basically the shelter classes were really cool. Made some really nice connections. I was able to get some teaching under my belt, but ultimately what happened was people were taking the classes because they thought that they ought to, or they were getting it because it was a really big discount. They had just adopted a dog. They had a couple of quirks and they wanted to work on it. But ultimately it was not clients that could afford to pay me at my services at the non-discounted rate. And unfortunately I saw a lot of dogs that really needed additional training at those classes. So it was unfortunate that they couldn't continue training with me, but it got some training skills under my belt as far as teaching goes, but it wasn't a long-term solution to getting clients. The other thing I started when I was getting started was Groupon. So there's a website out there called Groupon, and I think there was one at the time called Living Social, where you can post your services and offer deals and get clients that way. That was a lot of fun. Again, a lot of people signed up. It's kind of like an impulse buy type website. There's a limited time on the deals and the offers, so people tend to grab them when they come up, and then they don't really sign up very quickly. So 6 months down the road, I was still dealing with clients that had paid a really discounted rate that needed classes or needed private lessons. So that was kind of a hassle. And again, they got the discounted rate, so they were not able to continue additional training that they maybe would have benefited from. Ultimately, it was really my website that has brought in most of the clients that I've ever worked with. It's also brought in people that can afford my services that are looking for a positive trainer, because that's what I put on my website. And it ranked well, so I got free traffic, and I still do today. I actually still have to refer out people that I don't have time for to take personally. So that's a really nice problem to have. I don't pay for advertising. I didn't pay for advertising back then. So I really think that SEO is a great way for you guys to, to implement on your own websites and get new clients. Even though it's not an instant gratification situation. You can't just do something and then the next day get a new client inquiry. It takes a couple of months, but it's free. So I think that all of you guys are interested in what you can do for free to get started. All right. So the first section I want to talk about is blogging. I know that there's a lot of preconceived notions about what blogging should be or what it is, and really it's not a personal diary. You don't necessarily want to tell too much personal stuff up there. You do want to, show your personality, but you also want to provide valuable information. So things like what's going on in the local community, which is also good for SEO because it's got the local key terms. But also, how-to videos, any kind of instructions, any kind of, things like what not to give your dog at Thanksgiving, any kind of, helpful information that your clients would appreciate knowing. Also, if you specialize, it's a great way to demonstrate your knowledge in that area. So if you specialize in puppies, you can post a bunch of different puppy information. And ultimately, you don't want to worry about posting too much information. Post all you want, because people are going to want to still hire you. They're going to connect with the materials you're posting. They're going to see your knowledge and your expertise and your skill set, and they're not going to want to do it all by themselves. They're going to want a coach to do it there with them, to teach them, how to deal with their particular situation, or they're going to want you to do it all for them anyways. So if you offer board and train, people are going to want you to do it for them. They're not going to want to learn all the ins and outs of how to train their dog. So that's definitely something to consider. Don't worry about sharing too much information. And then a website that has an active blog that has lots of really valuable information that's fresh, that also gets lots of likes and shares. Those are all really good signals to Google that shows that this website is something they should be paying attention to and something they should be showing the viewers or the visitors that are using their website. So people that are, if you're specializing in puppies, people that are searching for, puppy training in your local city, if you post a lot about puppies, then your site is going to show up higher up in the rankings than somebody that does not have a blog to begin with. So that's definitely something to consider. All right, welcome everybody. So now I want to go over a few tips that you can, do today or this week to help your website perform a little bit better, to better understand where you stand with regards to SEO. And for those that don't know, SEO stands for search engine optimization. So, hi Debbie, good to see you. Great, so some of the platforms that I really like are Weebly, Squarespace, and WordPress. Those have some ways you can optimize for SEO really easily. They're fast if you implement it correctly. WordPress is a little bit trickier because there's a lot of customization to it, but pretty much Weebly and Squarespace are out of the box really great for SEO. Assuming you keep it fresh and updated, and blogging will always help. One website platform that I see a lot, unfortunately, is Wix. They have some really good marketing, but they don't have a really great website building platform. Unfortunately, I see a lot of dog trainers using it, but hi Tanya. I see a lot of people using Wix, but after some investigation, and I've worked with a client that had Wix for her website when I was looking at doing SEO work for her, and ultimately they use a lot of JavaScript, which is a type of code that Google cannot read. And ultimately that reduces your credibility in Google's eyes, because it seems like in Google's eyes, that you're hiding information from them, and they don't like to send people that they value, their users, to a website that they can't see and understand. So ultimately, I would definitely discourage you guys from using Wix. I'm sorry if you already have Wix. It's not impossible to get better. It's just going to take a lot more time and a lot more effort. So if you're just starting out, definitely check out Weebly, Squarespace, and WordPress.org. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about, frequency for blog posting. You can post once a week, probably would be best, at least when you're first getting started. When you don't have a lot of content on your website, you've got maybe a home page, a services page, and a contact me page. You really want to start blogging to put up a lot of content and show Google that you're a knowledgeable expert in the industry. Hi, Mandy. So I would recommend, if you're really looking to get better SEO rankings in a few months, really get blogging. post at least once a week. All right. Meta descriptions. So those are descriptions about your images. Those are descriptions that you'll see in Google when you look at your website on how it looks like on the search results page. If you don't know how to do that, you can type in site, S-I-T-E, colon, and then put your URL, and you'll see all of the pages that are indexed in Google and how they look to somebody that's looking at them on the Google website. So definitely check that out. Make sure that you've got the right terminology in there, that the right words are showing when people are deciding whether or not to click on your link and check out your website. That's pretty important, is what shows on the search result page. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, again, talking about things that are happening in your community, using keywords that are location specific. So talking about things happening in different neighborhoods and different communities in your area. And then don't be afraid to list your service areas as often as possible on the website. Repetition, as far as that goes, is not too bad, and it just clarifies exactly where you service. So go ahead and do that. All right. So I know that a lot of you guys have heard about SEO, have read a lot of conflicting information, are completely confused about what SEO is. So don't be too scared. It's just it's so much easier than you can probably imagine. I mean, if you're a certified dog trainer, I have no doubt that you can understand SEO and how to do it for yourself. So don't fall for those scams that tell you to pay $300 a month and have your SEO taken care of. Please don't sign up for those. It's such a scam because it's so easy to do on your own. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working on a new course that's going to walk you through the steps to getting your website set up correctly and making sure that everything you can possibly do to improve your search engine results and rankings is implemented. So things from copywriting to directory listings to making sure images have the right words, all sorts of things. I've got 5 weeks of material listed out on the link that I'll post in the comments here in a minute. And pretty much it's going to be 5 weeks. You're going to get 4 lessons a week. I'm going to try and keep those as short as possible and as actionable as possible so that I don't confuse you even more. And ultimately, you're going to learn how people, in Google, searching with, terms like dog training, can find your website. You're going to learn what makes your websites perform well in search engines. You're going to learn how to analyze your website correctly, all the important factors that Google considers with, which websites they show to their visitors. You're going to learn how you rank compared to your competitors, and also how to minimize future paid advertising costs by having good SEO. So you don't have to, if you have good SEO, you won't have to pay for ads on local newspapers. You won't have to wait on veterinary referrals. You won't have to pay for ads in Google or any other website. It's going to be, when you implement it correctly, it lasts a very long time, and it has a really nice return on investment. And ultimately, you'll avoid all of those SEO proposals and SEO scams that try and get you to pay for SEO work each month, that I'm sure everybody here gets lots of calls and emails about. I know I still do. So ultimately, this course is going to be for anybody that has their own website that can edit their website. You have to be able to do something like upload an image to your website at the bare minimum. So make sure that you have access to your website and can make those edits that I'll be showing you how to do. You also, let's see. Okay, yeah, so, hi Tanya. Yes, I will definitely be covering mobile-friendly websites. That's absolutely critical for local businesses. It's actually one of the really, it's actually a mandatory ranking factor now. Google will not list your website or show it, if at all possible, if your website cannot be visited from a mobile phone. So if you can't visit your website on your cell phone, you're not going to do well in search engines. And also specifically for local businesses, that is one of the really, really important ranking factors, because if you think about it, most people are on their phones looking for a local business when they need help with something in their house, or even when they're out driving around. Maybe they're at the dog park and they're thinking about hiring a dog trainer. They're going to be on their phones. So you want to make sure that your website can be visited on mobile, and that's definitely something I'll be covering in the course. So anyways, the course is going to start March 27th. It's just going to be a beta on the first round. I want to make sure that it's perfect for everybody in the long run, so I'm only accepting 5 people. If you're really interested, you can fill out the application form, which I'll list in the comments. And the beta testers get it for a significant discount, so they get $100 off, and also will get some support from me just to make sure that all their questions are answered, and all of that. So if you have any questions, definitely reach out. I will post the links in the comments, and thank you for listening. I will see you guys around. Hey, Catherine. Beta is another word for kind of like a first round. You're gonna get all the material in the course, but it might not just be perfect right off the bat. You're gonna kind of be my testers, and make sure that the material in there is answering the questions that you have. So that's pretty much it. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.